Hello everyone, welcome to the video lecture series of Mobile Application Development. Our today's topic is the relation between the activity lifecycle and the fragment lifecycle. Hi, this is your instructor Janice Shah. So let's begin to understand the relation between the activity and the fragment lifecycle. See, in a previous session, we have talked about the dynamic fragment creation. Before that, we talked about the static fragment creation. And in the very first introductory session, I told you about the activity and the fragment lifecycle. Okay. So the relation of the activity in the fragment lifecycle goes like this. See, the activity contains the various type of callbacks method, like on create, on start, on resume, on restart, on pause, on stop, and on destroy. Same as that, students, the fragment also contains the life cycle. See, up to now, through the programs, you will get the better idea that the activity and the fragments both are related with each other. How? Because we are going to apply or we are going to put our fragment on activity. Fine. So, what happens? The fragment life cycle is totally depend on the life cycle of the activity. But how we can actually see this with the help of the programs, that I'll show you. See, students, the very first thing is that to create it a state, I can say when your activity is totally create, your fragments, four methods have been called. The number one is on attach, second one is on create, third one is on create view, fourth one is on activity created. So all these four methods are called during the activity creation. When we talk about the next, on the started state, that means activity is already started, the on start method will be called. When the activity is resumed, on resume method of the fragment is called. When activities goes into the pause state, on pause method is called. On stop is called. On destroyed view, on destroy, and last one is on detach method is called. So this is how the all method is called as per the activity. But have you ever checked it that whether it's working or not? So today in this session, we talk about the relation between activity and fragments, and we are going to perform a practical on that. And with the output, we understand how these both things are correlated with each other. Fine. So to run this program, I'm not going to create any fragment, or I'm not going to show any output in the AVD. I'm going to show the output in the Logcat. So we'll get the understand about the Logcat. So in this session, I also covered the concept of the Logcat in the Android Studio. Students, what do we mean by the Logcat? If you ever think about to generate the logs or to check the console log in the JavaScript, you can, what you did, you just click on the F12 button from the keyboard, and from the website you can check out the console network and each and everything over there. If you write like console.log, hi, this is Danish, you will definitely check that output in the console log, and you think, okay, these things are working. So same like that, in the Android Studio, we have the Logcat facility, but with the addition of the Logcat, we have tags as well, that you can define the various type of Logcats in the different types of tags. So to write down or to see the messages or to see the output, okay, in the Logcat, we have the various methods. See, so methods like first one is log.e. E stands for the error. This log.e method is used to showcase the log's error. Log.w. This method is used to showcase the log warning. Whatever the warning you have in the program, can be shown by using the log.w method. Log.i, to showcase any regular information, students, you can use this particular log.i method. Log.d, by to showcase the debug messages, you can use this log.v to show the verbose messages. When you talk about the verbose messages, that means it contains not only the abstract information, it contains the very brief introductions, or we can say detailed information of a message. Next, WTF. WTF stands for students, what a terrible failure. It means somehow if our application goes into failed, application running will be stopped during the execution and it goes into terrible failure, then that messages can be shown or written under the log.wtf. Okay. So this is how students you can show your logcat messages. Now, how to use them? Let me show one syntax for the try catch method. See, the log always contains the two things. One is tag, second one is its message. Students, why we use tag? So, just tell me, in Gmail we have the labels. If you know, in Gmail accounts we have the labels. Like my first label is my college work, second label is my home, third label is bank, fourth label is anonymous. Okay, so under the any mail comes into the inbox, I can assign label to it. Like this is a label for my institute, this is mail is important for the, I can say, bank messages, this mail is important for the transaction messages, something like that. So whenever I want to find the message, I just click on the label and I can filter it easily. So same like the same concept is going under the tag. Here the various logcat messages are there, various logs messages are there. You can assign a specific tag to that message. So whenever you want to filter that message by using tag, you can do that. So here, how can you define a tag? Tag is nothing, it's a final static string. Its a tag is my application. To print a message, we just need to write like this, log.I. Students, I stands for the information. If you want to print an information, you can use log.I, then the tag, and then the message. So in the try catch method, we can use log.E because it throws an error. Okay, so under the catch block, let me write like this, E tag received an exception, comma exception. So this just print out the exception details. Fine. So this is how students you can use the logcat. We are going to use the logcat to print that message is like on start method is called, on stop message is called, main activity on start on stop called. So for that students, I have written over here the tag, and I have introduced how the logcat can be used. Now, the logcat in the Android, students, DC, you can filter your types of the logcat like info, verbose, debug, warning, error, assert, all messages you can see and you can filter over here. Okay, this is a panel. Under this Android Studio, you can find out the logcat over here. Okay, now next, practical for activity and the fragment life cycle. So how we can go for the practical, or what the changes are there. See, what are the methods for the activity? Like on start, on create, on resume, on stop, on destroy. These all methods I have already overridden. Okay, you just need to override this all method and write down only tag message over there that this method is called. Nothing new. Okay. Next, you just need to implement all methods in the fragment. So I did this task. I'm just going to show you. Okay. So first I have implemented I have just override all the methods of the activity. I have override all methods of the fragment. Then I'm going to use a tag in the main activity because we need to run the main activity file. Okay. So tag, I have used one tag like final string activity name. So what does this use, or what is the use of this? See, this string name, activity name is a variable. You can get your activity name by this. See, you just need to write down your class name dot class dot get simple name. This string returns your whole activity name or whatever the class name you consist. Okay. Now I just assign activity name to tag. Okay. Now on the click of the button add fragment, my fragment will be added. So what I'm going to show you how we can add, or how we can add a fragment on the click of a button. Fine. So, see, let's move towards the live programming practice. Students, you can see over here, I have just introduced my whole written over there, all the fragments and the activity files. So first, this is my activity file, students. I have just written a button, same as the previous program. I have one button over here. By clicking on this button, students, we are going to add a fragment. So in my linear layout of the activity main file.xml, see, I have just created one button. Button is width is match parent, the height is wrap content. Fine. Now the ID is the button add fragment that is used. Why we have used? I have already told you in my previous button add program. Okay. So this button add fragment is very much necessary. ID is very much important because when you click on that, you are going to allow, or we can say you are going to add a method or call a method that on click is now. Okay. Add fragment is nothing but is the text of a button. Next, when we talk about the frame layout, so in the frame layout, and in this frame layout, students, we are going to showcase our fragment. Okay, so now this is our frame layout. Android width is match parent, height is match parent, margin is 15 dp, and the Android ID is frg1. So the fragment layout ID is frg1, fragment 1. You can say the button ID is button add frg. So what is there in the fragment sample.xml? Only one text view is there. So text is fragment 1-1. Okay, so this is our fragment sample. Now, this is a class. So what I did, see students, this is very much important students. So just focus here very carefully. So this is our sample fragment, extends fragment. I have defined two different strings. One is to get the fragment name, and second one is to assign fragment name to tag. Okay. So what I did, I just created one static final string fragment name. Then students, to get the fragment name, I have used like sample fragment one dot class dot get simple name. Next, private static final string tag. I have used one take a variable tag which consists the fragment name as an input. Okay, so here tag is equal to fragment name. Now next, what do we have? That the first method is on create method. I have just overridden it and write down like on create called. Okay, let me just write down like fragment on create called. It's a frag on create called. Okay. Now next what we have on create view. So again the on fragment on create view is called. Now on start. So fragment on start call. See, I just overridden each and every method. If you want to override any method, let me just remove this and let me show how you can do that. So just write down like over that at the rate override, click over here, just find out your method. I just remove start, so let me just or write down like on start. Okay, so on start word, just click on that and method is overridden itself. Isn't it easy, right? So you can, if you do not want to write down code manually, then you can do like this. Now public void on start method super dot on start method is called, and I just need to write down the log. So how to write down the log? See, log dot I. It will show the various options. The first one is tag, students. You just need to write down the tag over there. And second one is whatever the message you want to show. So message is like on like fragment one on start is called. Okay, and just click on the semicolon. Next students, on pause method is called. So super dot on pause, then on resume, then on detach, then on destroy view. I already forgot to add a method like on attach first, so I've just written over there on attach. See, in on attach, when you try to override, it contains some parameters, so just write the context over there. On activity creator method is already deprecated, but if you want to override it, you can do that. Then on stop, and last one is on destroy. So I have just override each and every method. Under that written like super, and last one is the logcat. So log, I just written log message information. Fine. Tag is, what is the tag for this? Tag is, we can say fragment name. Now what about the main activity? See, let me first show you the all overridden method over here. Like on destroy, overridden on destroy. Before that, let me write like ACT. Okay, so we get the idea that activity method is called like this ACT. Okay, next again, this is ACT. Let me just keep it into the smaller. Okay, now in the under the on pause method, ACT. Students, this is on resume method. We can write like this: activity on resume method is called, then activity on start method is called on add button. So here it is, students. The add fragment method I already added on the below of this program. So here it is, like fragment manager. We need to create first fragment manager. Its object call the get support manager. Then use the fragment transaction. Now sample fragment one is our class. So create object of our sample fragment one class. Then add the sample fragment one to this particular layout ID. See, this is our activity main. Okay, this is our activity main. This is our frame layout. Another frame layout, we have ID frg1. So what we need to focus over here, just need to write down frg1 as our layout ID, that we need to add this particular sample fragment 1 object to this frg1 ID. Now after that, you just need to click on the commit. Please do not worry about this particular method. We'll see about the backstack in our next section. Now see, after that, if you want to how to just this is the same code as the previous lecture, students. We just need to create on add fragment button and we can see the output. Okay, so here it is, the code, and now we will going to see the output. So let me just run this code, students. Okay, and show you how the methods, activities, and the life cycle method of the fragments will correlate with each other. So for that, let me just mirror my phone screen. So video might get stopped, so do not worry about it. Okay, fine, students. So finally my phone is getting connected. Now I'm going to run this program. Okay, students, so it will take some amount of time. So now our fragment is already added. If you want to see, this is a Logcat, students. We just need to focus on the Logcat as well. So right now, see, this is our Logcat screen. Okay, now when I click on the add button, then the fragment will be added. But right now no fragment will be added. Now let's see how the activity works. So let me just click on the activity. Okay, see now, students, activity pause is called, activity stop is called. Now again activity stop state is resume. Okay, so now if you want to check out the Logcat for the activity, you can see over here. See, the activity state is 1 0. Our what is our tag for the activity, students? Main activity. Okay, so let me just write like this: main activity. So see, this tag can be used to do the filtration. Right now my phone is this. Let me just lock the phone. When I just lock the phone, see, on stop method is called. Fine, let me just unlock it. On resume method is called. So right now no fragment is added. Right now, students, no fragment is added. Now just let me click on the fragment add button and let me show you how the fragments method are called. Okay, let me just remove the activity first from here. Let me click on the fragment. See, when we click on the fragment is automatically added on the click of the button. And now let me just check out like sample. See, the first on attach method is called, then on create method is called, then on create view is called, then on activity created method is called. Okay, then fragment on start called, and on resume method of the activity is called. So this is how, students, the fragment methods are called. Now with these, students, we are not able to understand how the both works separately. Sorry, both works in a correlation. So let me just change the tag name. Instead of the fragment name, let me just keep it as common. Okay, or I can say keep it as LJ. Okay, so this is my tag name is LJ in the fragment. Again in the activity, my tag name is also, I can say, LJ. Let me just remove this. Okay, so what's going to be happen, students? We can filter our both output of the activity in a fragment with the tag LJ. Now we just need to remove run this application again. So I just click on the run button again. Just wait for a while. The activity will start loading. Terminate app. Yes, I want to terminate app. And now see, the application will run in a few minutes. Okay, so application is launch successful. Fine. So what happens, students? You can see the first let me just remove this information from here. Okay, now if you want to see with the tag LJ, okay, let me just filter the tags with LJ. So activity on created is called, on start is called, on resume is called, and pause and stop. Why on pause and stop? Because my phone is locked right now. Now see, again, the activity methods are called like on restart, on start, and resume. Activity is on resume. Okay, now let me click on the add fragment button. See, when I click on the add fragment button, first on attach is called, then fragment on create is called, on created view is called, then on start is called, and then on resume is called. So what happens on resume is called, but when students, when the on start of the fragment is completed. Fine. Now let me just click on the home button again. So what happens? See, on pause is called, activity on pause called, then on stop is called, and activity on stop method is called. Okay, so such like this, students, you can your, and when we click on this, see, remove this. Wait a minute, students. So when I just open the application again, see what happens. First on start method is called, then on resume method is called. When I click on the add fragment, see, fragment method on start, on resume is called. Fine. Now when I click on the back button, on stop method is called. Okay. This is how, students, you can check out your activity life cycle with the fragments. Students, in the next section, we'll talk about the batch stack in the fragments. In this session, we have learned how can we relate our activity life cycles with the fragments. If you have any doubt, then please feel free to ask me. Thank you so much.